Sometimes it's okay to buy things like pets, and sometimes it's really not. Now, say if you have a phobia of said pet, would it be okay for your partner to go and buy one without your knowledge, and then get mad at you for being mad about that? That's what's going on in our first story today. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on that Barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for wanting my wife to rehome her birds? So my wife and I took a break a little over 2 months ago. We didn't divorce or split, but just took a small break. We didn't argue over who would stay in the house because we have a young son. It made the most sense for her to stay in the home. Last week, we decided to get back together and end our separation. When I got back, I found out that she had bought 2 birds, Layla and Oscar. They are masked lovebirds. She has wanted an aviary for a while, but knows that I have a phobia of birds. We got a dog to compensate, as I know she wanted a pet. She knew I wasn't okay with birds, and yet still got them despite us only being separated, not divorced. Now to make matters worse, she's going out and getting 4 more on Monday. I found out that she spent over £700 on them already, plus has looked into quotes on building them a shelter outside. I've tried getting used to them, but can't. They're noisy and bite, and I don't like them. It's not okay. So I've told her this. We were on a break, so it's not okay for her to get a pet that I have a phobia of. I've asked her to rehome them because, as I've said twice now, I have a phobia of them. It's not like I haven't tried to get used to them. She's upset, claiming that they'll be outside soon and that they were her comfort during our split. And because we split, I don't have a say in anything. I slept on the sofa because of this argument. 1, we weren't divorced, we just took a break. 2, I wouldn't get a pet knowing that she had a phobia. And 3, it's my garden. I don't want an aviary. Am I the arsehole? Batifall says, your whole post irks me. You sound controlling. You have a young son, so it made more sense for her to stay in the house. Is that so? Unless she's nursing, I don't really see why. And you also said it's your garden, you decide. Yeah, buddy, it's her garden too. Also, not liking birds doesn't make you phobic of them. You don't say a word about why you guys were on a break and who decided on it, and I have a strong feeling it's relevant. In the meantime, you're the arsehole. Couldn't agree more. I had the same controlling feeling all along. But isn't the problem more so that she never even talked about bringing the birds home? Instead, she looks to compromise after she's already ostensibly made the decision. That's not really a compromise. The spouse is 100% in the wrong for bringing the birds in without permission, and if there is to be a discussion about putting the birds outside, it shouldn't be done while the birds are actively in the house. It should have been done before the birds are purchased. OP does sound stubborn about this subject though. I'm getting the sense that there have been conversations about buying birds that we haven't heard about. Ditto. Sounds like the break was beneficial for both parties, and it might need to continue. You sound unhappy. She's making decisions without you. You guys might make better co-parents than partners. Not the arsehole about the birds. Yeah, I think this is a pretty big signal. She doesn't accidentally get something that makes the living environment unbearable. Maybe cut each other some slack and call it quits while you can still do it amicably. If he actually has a phobia, he has a right to be stubborn. No one should have to live in fear all day. I have a feeling if the guy was afraid of spiders and his wife got a bunch of tarantulas, people would be a lot more sympathetic. But if he actually has a phobia, I agree. But it doesn't sound like a phobia. It just sounds like a general dislike. You don't bring pets into the house without everyone on board. Why he doesn't want them doesn't matter. It sounds like everyone that was living in the house was on board. I agree with another person that your phobia is more of a dislike than a phobia. Why can't she have them outside? You speak possessively of the garden. It's my garden. It's not like it's also hers though. But you also say that she's always wanted an aviary, and yet you make no compromises for her to have something that she's dreamed about for years. You guys need therapy now. But I honestly predict this doesn't last. said as the ex-wife of someone who acted just as selfishly as you, and I got sick of it and said no and walked away. And Babs Garcia says, I was not the asshole until it's my garden, I don't want an aviary. I could almost hear you stomping your foot down as you wrote that. So you don't want them inside, you don't want them outside. Basically, she can never have something she desperately wants because you don't like them. Does everything belong to you alone? Do your wants and desires always come first? Isn't an aviary a large outdoor cage? How does that rock your world if it brings her happiness? You throw phobia around quite a bit. Are you not sleeping at night over fear of being attacked by the birds? Or does looking at them just remind you that she has her own thoughts and feelings? I'd say she let you move back in too soon, unless you dictated the rules of that too. You need marriage counseling, as you aren't going to get the answers you need and want here. Yeah, but it's not okay to buy pets your partner doesn't want or like, phobia or not. That's not the way you conduct a relationship, and certainly not the way you repair it. They were split up when she did, and he doesn't get to just demand that she do anything when he moves back in. Sorry, that's just not how relationships work. If there was a mutual understanding they were working towards reunification and getting back together, then you don't make big decisions which is going to end up impacting on both of you. It's like if you and your boyfriend signed a lease today to move in together at the start of September. You wouldn't go out tomorrow and adopt a kitten for yourself without speaking to your boyfriend first. Unless you plan to rehome the kitten come September, in which case, why are you adopting a kitten? Adopting that kitten is a big decision which impacts on both you and your boyfriend. Our next post is by user Unusual Reception 738, titled, Am I the asshole for insisting that my brother and his girlfriend not wear gross clothes in my car? So I, 28 female, have a very sensitive nose. I can't do perfume, I tell guys not to wear cologne on a date, and I can't be around cigarette or pot smoke or I start gagging. My whole family knows this and for the most part are very supportive. This weekend, my brother, 24 male, called me up at 2 a.m. because he and his girlfriend, 22 female, had missed the last train out of the city because they met up with some people at a bar and wound up going back to their place for a bit. He asked me to come get him. Now, my apartment is 40 minutes outside the city, and our parents, who he lives with, are about an hour away. I told him to get an Uber because if they reeked of alcohol, cigarettes, and weed, I didn't want them in my car. He said that it would be too expensive, promised they didn't smell, and begged me to come. I told him that as long as they didn't smell, I would come get him, but that I was prepared to leave him if he did. I got to the address about an hour later. They came out, and it was clear they were both drunk. My brother went to hug me, and I could immediately smell weed on him. I started retching, told him that it wasn't going to work, and to call an Uber. "We showered! There's no way you're smelling anything, it's all in your head," he said to me. Apparently their solution was to shower in these people's apartment, thinking that would get rid of the tobacco and weed smell on their clothes. I told them to call an Uber, and got back into my car. He banged on the window, and I told him that he wasn't getting in my car like that. I told him I'd give him half the money for an Uber, and I was leaving. He told me to just roll down the windows. I told him that I didn't want it in my car. He said, "I showered. These are my only clothes I have. I can't ride home naked." That gave me an idea. I opened my trunk, grabbed 2 blankets and 2 trash bags, and I told them to put their clothes in the bag and cover up with the blankets. His girlfriend handed it back and said, "F that, I'll walk," and walked away. My brother told me I was out of my mind and it was all in my head. I reached into my wallet, pulled out $50 and said to call Uber. He handed it back and told me to hold up and ran after his girlfriend. They came back and he asked if they could sit in the back with the windows open. I told him I wouldn't be able to stand it for an hour, so they begrudgingly stripped, put their clothes in the bags, and I tied them off and threw them in the trunk. I drove them to our parents' house in silence and dropped them off without a thank you. My brother's girlfriend unfriended me on Facebook, and he and she are not speaking. And my mum is furious with me, saying that I embarrassed them and I was being overly sensitive. She says I should have called her so she could have gotten them. But my mum goes to bed at 9, so I don't think she would have been thrilled. I feel bad that I put that condition on it, but I would not have been able to tolerate being in my car otherwise. And edit, I've been asked to add some info into my post that I answered in the comments. My reaction to smell is very extreme. I retch, I gag, I throw up, my eyes water, my stomach churns. I get migraines, my heart races, and I get chills that makes everything else worse. I could not have driven home with that stench in my car. We would not have been safe. Everyone who is voting that I'm the asshole seems to think that I forced this girl to take off her clothes to punish or humiliate her. There is no part of me that enjoyed asking my brother to give up his clothes to get in my car. I had no smile on my face, and I apologized to them for being so sensitive to smell. I pushed for the Uber. I even offered to cover most of it. It would have been $65 for them to get home. They didn't want to get in an Uber when they were in that condition. I was embarrassed to ask them to strip, but there was no way for me to make it an hour with them in the car in those clothes. And I did not tell them to get naked. I told them to put their clothes in the bag. They went behind the car, I had my back to them and was keeping my distance. My brother handed me the bags and I tied them up and threw them in the trunk without inspecting them. The blankets were a good size, so all you could really see is that both were barefoot and had removed their shirt and pants. I do not know if they left their underwear on or were naked under there. Any intimate bits were covered. To be fair, I understand your reasoning for this one, and I understand why you did it. I think it was a necessary evil, but it wasn't evil nonetheless. It's not like you could particularly help it because you didn't bring a spare change of clothes for these people, and that would have been unnecessary in most instances. I also think they're assholes for not having a backup plan and forcing you into it when they didn't want to deal with their mother. They knew that you'd be the easiest one to deal with at this time. I think him refusing the $50 and taking an Uber home was also an asshole move. If he really wanted to get out of that situation his own way, he would have taken it. So for that reason, I'm going to go everyone sucks here for this one. Now in the comments, Kufnup says, pressuring your brother's drunk girlfriend to strip off and to get into your car when she'd already made it clear that she wasn't comfortable with it was a pretty crappy thing for both you and your brother to do, to be honest. I'm not at all surprised she unfriended you and isn't speaking to your brother, and you trying to play the victim here because she didn't thank you is not a great look. Everyone sucks here. Yeah, I mean I get having sensory issues, but this is just kinda gross and entitled behavior. It's not like OP agreed to be their emergency ride ahead of time. She drove out there on the explicit condition that they not smell, which they incorrectly assured her was true. She offered an alternative, a weird one though, instead of just driving away, which is what I would have done. She even gave them $50 for an Uber, which I certainly would not have done after driving 40 minutes. I don't see how OP here is entitled after driving 40 minutes at 2 AM and offering some money for an Uber. Moonwitch says, everyone sucks here. Them for not making good choices, but to be honest, you sound like a lot. I also have sensory issues, and to be honest, sometimes you just have to be an adult and try to just deal with it. I gag daily, sometimes for no reason at all. Changing my child's diapers is a nightmare, but the world is not going to cater to your needs. Best get used to that. I partially agree with this, however, I have sensitivity to chemical smells like perfume, etc. that'll give me an instant migraine, not just cause me to retch. So if that were the case, I'd have been pretty adamant too. Having said that, if it's just a gagging issue, then yeah, it sounds like OP took it a tiny bit far and open windows could have solved a chunk of the problem. And Drunk on Martinis says, you're the asshole, because you should have just said no in the first place if you knew there was a very good chance you'd strand them anyway. And making someone strip to get in your car is just disgusting and violating. I don't blame that poor girl for not wanting anything to do with either of you anymore. The smell of bare ass on your blankets isn't just as gross as smoke to you? Not the asshole. You said their stench would make you sick and they lied to get you there. You were nice to offer half the Uber. I can't believe how far I had to scroll to find this. What in the world? OP got her ass out of bed at 2 AM and drove 40 minutes to pick up her lying ass brother and his cheap ass girlfriend. They should have known that showering and putting on the same stinky clothes was not going to solve the problem. They could have just gotten an Uber and been home without any showering, waiting, or fighting. I think OP was too nice to even give them a chance by driving out there, but not remotely an asshole for it. She wanted to help. She tried to help in various ways, offering several solutions and options. She shouldn't have to drive an hour with the windows rolled down just to not hurl in her own car. And who knows how long the smell would have lingered, at least by her own noticing, since she is that sensitive. Why should she have to compromise her health and comfort for these freeloaders? And our next post is by user It's Sidwood, titled, "Am I the asshole for posting a group pic of my co-workers despite one of the guys saying his girlfriend will break up with him if he's in the photo with other girls?" Basically the title. My work took a photo today with everyone in it, during work, because we travelled for work this week. One of the guys asked nobody to post it because he can't have his girlfriend see it. She will break up with him if he takes a picture with a girl in it. I'm a girl, and we all told him that's stupid and he should get a new girlfriend, so I posted it anyways. I didn't tag him, he's pissed, and am I the asshole? Edit for details, this was a group pic at our job site. We were in uniforms. This one really boggles the mind in all honesty. I don't get why this girlfriend is so controlling that you can't even take pictures with other girls no matter the circumstance. Don't worry if you guys are all fully clothed, it's professional, you're at work having a group photo. Don't worry about that. No. Those are random girls and that's a power trip and you're gonna have to apologize to your girlfriend for being in the presence of other women for a photo because you could potentially be cheating at work. Oh my god, that's crazy. This is ridiculous, I'm going with not the asshole. Now in the comments, Scorpio Girl 70 says, not the asshole. It's a work group photo. It's not like he's taking selfies with random girls. If she breaks up with him over that, it's doing him a favor. The other people in this thread are crazy. If he's not comfortable having a picture posted, he shouldn't be in the picture. What's the effing point of pictures if not to share them? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. It's not okay to post pictures of other people if they don't want you to. It's not a picture of him. It's a work picture. The picture is of the staff of the workplace. It is unreasonable for him to make demands about what is being done with it. If he doesn't want his psycho girlfriend seeing it, he shouldn't be in it in the first place. And he didn't say, I do not wish to have my photo taken. He said, don't post said photo. My girlfriend will be crazier than what she already is. OP has every right to share her life on social media. If said co-worker knew him being in a work photo with other co-workers, which involve women, and knew that it would be an issue, he shouldn't have partook in it, period. Asking your co-workers to limit what they post because of your lack to see the red flags your significant other gives you is unfair to say the least. OP didn't tag him or do it to deliberately hurt her co-worker. Since it was a work group photo, the company would be more than likely to use that for marketing purposes or more than likely share it elsewhere, because why else would they take the photo in the first place? People are so quick to jump straight to laws and regulations, but court isn't textbook, nor would her co-worker go to lengths to sue on the basis of, it'll make my girlfriend upset. People are ridiculous. I tried to look further down, but I couldn't find anything besides the not the asshole responses, so I'm guessing the other ones were just either deleted or they're just really far down, so that's weird. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Markee 2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.